And so we are live on YouTube. What's up, NorthPark students and everybody watching at home? Hope y'all are doing great. Hope everybody on the Zoom call that is watching right now is doing great as well. Hey, I want you to chat right now some things that are trending in your world today, like right now. What's some things trending besides coronavirus? Like if you put coronavirus, I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do if y'all do that. Like put some things, chat some things that is trending in your world right now. Type them out. Let us know. So that I know, so that I know what to put in here. Things that make you just really excited. Things that you get on and you watch daily, or the things that you're seeing with different things. Somebody said TikTok, Bree Anthony. TikTok is trending. So somebody else said Instagram, Caitlin Anthony. I see that. Instagram, that's what's up. That's what's up. And so I don't know if anybody watches The Voice or not. Oh, I just see it right here. Look, Todd Tillman with The Voice. Listen, I don't know if y'all been watching that. Todd's going to take it. He's going to take it home, I hope. And so somebody said Netflix. That's all you do as students right now is Netflix, right? Like how many of y'all got Hulu? How many of y'all got Disney Plus? Like Disney Plus is where it's at. Like they released the new Star Wars on May the 4th. And be with you and may be with you, and it was trending on there. Somebody said YouTube. Oh snap, Caitlin Anthony YouTubing it, and so there's a lot of trending things. And listen, we all know things that are trending. Sometimes those trending topics, right? They're funny, like cats playing piano. Like I love watching those videos. Cats playing piano is like insane. But other times those trend topics are serious. Like they're serious things. They're serious things that happen. And so there's some potential in that. There's sometimes those things have potential to impact our lives in big ways and crazy ways. But let's be honest, right? Talking about those serious trending topics can be a little uncomfortable at times. Am I right or am I right? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Let me know what you think about that. But I want you to know that right here at our church, NorthPark Church, you can talk about anything. Okay, I want y'all to know that as the leader of the church, I want you to know we can talk about anything with each other. This is a safe place for you to ask questions, to have conversations about difficult or confusing things. And we really believe that you're here, you're part of the youth program, you're part of the student ministry, that you're mature enough to have types of conversations like these, okay? And so tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about something really important that we don't really think about a lot, and that is that's this thing called consent. Maybe you've heard the word consent before. Like when you've had to get a parent to sign a form giving them consent for you to go on a field trip or participate in an activity or watch a certain movie at your school. Maybe you've heard it used more on a more serious ways, like in stories you've read online or in the news, or maybe you've heard someone use this word, and it's really not a word that comes up in a lot of our conversations. But just so that we're on the same page and we're clear, what we mean by consent, it simply means to agree to do something or to allow something to take place. To agree to do something or to allow something to take place. If you're with me, shake your head like this. Give me a thumbs up. Consent is one tool that's used to keep relationships in good places. Okay, it can apply to something as small as siblings taking your clothes without your consent or with your consent, but it's usually a word that talk about something bigger. Okay, you know this. You're typically you hear this in the context of dating and sex, and whether it's consent to go on a date or do something sexually, send a pic or share a pic. Consent is a pretty important topic in our lives. Okay, now maybe you're sitting here thinking, "Whoa, can we talk about this in church? Can we talk about that?" I mean, it is a strange topic to talk about, but the truth is this: the ideal consent shows up all over the place and in our culture. We typically see in stories or in news reports where consent wasn't a part of decisions, and bad things happened as a result. But there's also messages that many of us get in a cultural in our culture. Excuse me. As long as two people consent, we say that as long as two people consent, no matter what it is, you're good. Okay. In other words, consent often answers the question most of us are really asking when they're trying to decide what to do. The real question is often, will I get in trouble? Will I get in trouble for this? And when both consent, we automatically assume that no, we will not get in trouble. So here's what I mean by it. All right. So on a really basic level, when it comes to how we treat other people, most of us believe and we behave with a minimum requirement mindset. Instead of asking ourselves what we should do to treat others well or build them up, we look for the least we can do and still not get in trouble for it. All right? So think about, chat out your examples that you can think about as I'm giving you examples. So one example is when it comes to how you talk to your mom, you use just enough sarcasm, right? And attitude to make a point, but not enough to get in trouble and sound like a total jerk, right? I mean, am I right or am I wrong? When you're at school and say something about a person you don't really like, you think about what you can get away with and without getting yourself into trouble, right? I mean, if you're in a relationship with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, you focus on the things they didn't tell you not to do. If they didn't say no, then it's okay to try. I mean, start thinking, type in on your comments some other examples that you can think of. But listen, we look for minimum requirements. As humans, our temptation is always to do the least amount of good behavior that we should and the maximum amount of bad behavior that we can get away with. Some of you know this because you spent time with someone trying to test the limits of what they can, of what you can get away with, right? Maybe you've asked someone to send pictures that you didn't want to send, or maybe you received pictures that you didn't want to receive, or maybe you felt pressure to go further sexually than you wanted to go, and maybe you've been forced or guilted into behaviors, sexual or not, that you didn't want to participate in. Maybe you dated a guy who consistently talked down to you or called you names, or maybe you dated a girl whose actions made it difficult to trust her. I mean, if you've been on the receiving end of any of this behavior or pressure, and what you wanted wasn't considered, then you don't need me to tell you how bad and confusing it feels. And whether you consented or did not consent, you know these kinds of requests bring up lots of questions, sometimes even pain, and sometimes even regret. And now, don't get me wrong, consent matters. Okay, if you've ever had something happen to you, big or small, without your consent, you know how horrible that can make you feel. But when I think about the story of my friends, the students and adults I know who've been in similar situations, I find myself wondering this question: is consent really all that matters? I mean, when it comes to your dating life, as a mature young person, you have to answer this question because it will drive so many of your decisions. And if you're a Jesus follower, this is even bigger than it's an even bigger deal. I'm not just talking about whether or not to have sex. I'm talking about how you treat people. I'm talking about how what you ask for, and how you talk to others, and what you try to talk to them out of. Right? I mean, that's why we're talking about this tonight. That's what we're talking about. And as we do, I think you'll find consent does matter. It does matter, but it's just one piece of a bigger puzzle. So with that in mind, I want you to take your Bibles, turn to Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12. We're going to look at one verse tonight. Romans chapter 12. A guy named Paul wrote this. So Romans chapter 12, verse 10. It says this. It says, "Be devoted to one another in brotherly love. Honor one another above yourselves." This seems like a basic how to treat people, ideal for us to live in the 21st century, but Paul was writing to the first century, right? And to the people in that culture where everyone had to look out for themselves. People didn't look out for each other and protect each other, so individuals had to take that responsibility upon themselves. In some ways, our culture wasn't all that different from high school or middle school modern times. You know what it's like to be in a class, on a team, or in a friend group where everybody looks out for themselves. Paul's saying there's a better way to live, and he had a good reason. Paul consistently told people that Jesus demonstrated a new way to live, and in Paul's world, it seemed crazy to suggest honor as a new standard. But for Paul, Jesus changed everything, and Paul was so committed to Jesus that he boldly and passionately affirmed this message: value people for who they are, what they want, and what they don't want. Value people for who they are, what they want, and what they don't want. That's Jesus' standard of behavior, right? And I love the word that Paul uses here. It wasn't just consent, it was honor. Honor is just another way of saying to show respect. Now, y'all know us down here in Mississippi, right? I mean, we gotta show respect. Chat out some things that you have to do to show respect to others. What do you have to say, right? You have to say yes, sir, no, ma'am. What's some other things? Anybody want to put it through the chat? Let me see it. What's some things that you do have to show honor to other people? To have to show respect to other people. Anybody got anything? Listen, if you respect someone, you do so much more than just the bare minimum. You do so much more. You do the best for them in every area, including areas of consent. You do in every area. I see your message, little steers, ma'am. Anybody else? If you've been in a situation, listen. If you've been in a situation where you didn't give consent, and you're wondering why it feels as bad as it does, this is why. You weren't honored or respected. You were devalued, and that wasn't how God intended for it to be. On the other hand, if you've treated someone with bare minimum or kindness or consideration, it has communicated the same message to them, right? That they are not valued, that they were not respected, and that they were not honored. When it comes to this way we treat each other, especially those of us who follow Jesus, we're called so much more than just the minimum requirement. We're called to honor. And Paul goes one step further. He says, honor others, above yourselves. Honor others above yourselves. Among many things, this means doing what's best for them, no matter what you want for them. A lot of people call this the golden rule, right? A lot of people call this the golden rule. Anybody that can give me the verse for the golden rule, type it out. I'll give you a free Chick-fil-A gift card for the golden rule. So chat it out. Who's the first one that's going to get it to me? Listen, guys, when it comes to that, we're supposed to honor ourselves we're supposed to honor others before ourselves. Listen, maybe you've considered sending some photos to a guy because it'll get his attention, but you choose not to because you know that it's not the best for him or for you. That's honor, all right? Yes, I see. What's the Bible verse? Text me the Bible verse for it. First one, text it to me. I'll put it up. Maybe you've asked a girl out and she keeps turning you down. You want to keep pressuring, but you want to keep pressuring for them to go a little further sexually or something, but they refuse, and they say that they don't want that. They say stop, and so you stop. That's honor. Maybe you find yourself in the moment. About to go one step further and to go into physical or sexual relationship with someone. You're about to cross the boundary, and even though you've had conversations about not crossing it, so you stop, even though you don't want to, and even if they say it's okay because you know this isn't what's best for you. That's honor when you stop and say, no, I'm not doing it. That's honor. It's honor for them. It's honor for you. Okay, in so many ways, Jesus changed the way people understood each other then and now. And from following Jesus, Paul was teaching others to see people and treat them differently, to honor them no matter what, because God valued values them no matter what. And you know what? The same is true for you and for I. Because you're valuable to God, this also means doing what's best for you and asking others to show you honor too. Um, uh, when you are in a situation um, that you don't want to be in, you can say so. If you're in a situation that you don't like, you can say, "Hey, I don't like this." When you're being pressured to do something you don't want to do, you can say no. When someone pushes a boundary you set for yourself, you can speak up. You can speak up to it and be firm about it. Because as much as much we're called to honor in other people, we can expect to receive that same kind of honor in the way we treat others. Um, Listen, guys, think about it like this: expect and express honor, guys. I've told y'all some stories of me when I was in school. I didn't like people cussing. I didn't cuss. I just thought it was trash. I didn't want to do that. And so I told a lot of people around me I didn't want to hear cussing, you know. And so reputation of that went around my school. And so when people would cuss around me, they say, "Oh man, Justin, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cuss. I didn't mean to cuss in front of you. I'm sorry about that." They were showing me respect and they showed me honor, and I was like, "Hey, you know, thanks a lot." You know, same thing can be true with y'all. Y'all can say, "Hey, I don't want to hear that stuff. Hey, I'm not into that kind of stuff." Honor is so much more than just a minimum requirement of will it get me in trouble or is it legal. It's a higher standard. We need to expect to be honored by others, and we need to demonstrate that same honor toward other people. You see, honor isn't just about respecting the consent of other people. It's more than that. It's about respecting the person no matter what. One of the very first things the Bible tells us about who we are is that we're made and created in the image of God. That means that we have value in God's eyes. You have value in God's eyes. He sees us as people who deserve to be honored simply because we exist. We respect and honor the image of God in others, and we should expect others to respect and honor the image of God in us. So, what does it look like? How do we express honor? How do we do that? Well, first of all, ask yourself: am I doing what's best for them, despite what I want for them? Now, look at your choices. All right, look at your words, look at your behaviors. Then look at your relationships. Do you show honor in all of them? Secondly, understand that there is a higher standard than consent. Listen, guys, consent is definitely important, and it's a huge part of honoring other people. But remember, we're called to a higher standard, okay? And don't view your relationships, your behaviors and choices through the lens of convincing another person to say yes or no. Instead, look at them through the lens of convincing another person to say yes or no. Instead, look at through the lens of honoring what's best for them and respecting their words and their choices. And finally, accept the no. Sometimes one of the easiest ways to honor others is simply listening to them when they say no. When someone tells you no, that means it. That's it. Don't keep forcing them to say, "Oh, come on, please, please, please." When they say no, accept it. Accept it and accept their no, okay? And so what does it look like to expect honor? What does it look like? Practice saying no, guys. If you can practice saying no to small things you don't want to do it, like watching a movie you don't want to see, hanging out with people you don't want to hang out with, or eating something you don't like, it will help you feel more comfortable saying no. When the stakes are higher, you'll become more confident using your voice to express what's not okay with you. Another thing, Decide how you want to be treated. Determine right now in your life what honor looks like to you. Set standards for yourself for what's okay and what's not okay when it comes to how you treat other people and how you want to be treated as well. Tell someone you trust those standards. Pre-decide will help you stick your standard and help you recognize when you're not being treated with honor. And lastly, speak up. Speak up. It's possible that some of you have asked to be honored and not given your consent, and but your voice wasn't respected, and because of that, you're dealing with things like guilt. You're dealing with shame, anger. You're dealing with a lot of stuff. First, I want you to know that I'm so sorry that happened to you, and this is a safe place, okay, for you all. This is safe to talk about that with someone like your small group leaders or a friend, but what was done to you wasn't honored. But you need to know that you still deserve to be honored. You should still expect honor in your life. One of the best ways you can expect honor is to speak up now and share what has happened with someone you love and trust, someone who wants to honor you by helping you through the experience of your past. And so, listen, guys, as we're about to wrap up, listen, I get that every dating situation, every late night text thread, every relationship is different. And I get that there's no way we could talk about what honoring means in every situation. That's why small group is important. It's a huge important task for you. Small group is a great place where you can talk about real life situations like these with a friend and an adult who cares about you. So as you head out, as you get ready to go to your small group, I want you to think about this question, okay? What does it look like to expect and express honor? I mean, what does it really look like? Sometimes a topic like this can make us feel uncomfortable or even confused about what we're supposed to do. That's why I want you to think about the word honor. Imagine if we all did this. Imagine if the person you're dating or the person you're going to date took the message seriously. Imagine if your ex took it seriously. Imagine if your friend's boyfriend or girlfriend started to honor them and expect honor from them. So many of our relationships would be better because of it. Guys, honor each other. Honor and expect it from others. So, um, guys.